Howdy, everybody. I got a treat for you tonight. I'm Randy Ray, the Literate Texan, so I'm assuming that a lot of you watching this already know who I am, but if not, welcome to the channel. I've been doing a series of videos about bookshelf tours, my library tour, all the physical books that I own. You can see the bookshelf behind me. We've gone through the top 3 shelves so far, and today we're doing the bottom shelf, and we're finished with that whole bookcase. So I'm really excited about it because some of these books are some of my favorite books, and some of these books are books that I'm most excited to get to read. So anyway, I'm not going to waste a lot of time with introductory stuff. I'm just going to start showing you the books. I have a friend who teaches creative writing at the University of North Texas, and he, 50% off coupon for a baked cookie at Barnes & Noble. How cool is that? So he suggested to me that the novels of John LeCarre are some of the best novels from England written, which is unusual because they are genre fiction, they're spy novels. But apparently, according to him and several other people whom I respect quite a bit, they rise above the whole genre fiction and are actually literature, whatever that means. I don't know. I haven't read any of these yet, but I hope to get started on them soon. I'm going to show you which ones I have. This one is a George Smiley novel called The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. And I seem to remember, and I could be wrong about this, I think a lot of these got made into televised movies. If I remember correctly, I think George Smiley might have been played by Alec Guinness. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Anyway, this is a short one. This is only 225 pages. I could finish this fairly quickly if I had a few hours in front of me. I also have Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which is significantly longer. We're talking almost 400 pages here, 379 pages. Looks really good, with an introduction by the author. So, and from what I understand, John LeCarre actually served with British espionage. MI6 or M16, I don't know. It's not as easy to remember as the CIA, is it? And then finally, the third John LeCarre book I have is called A Perfect Spy. And I see the picture of the penguin. These are all from the same publisher. I think these are really pretty covers. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this one. This one's got a quote on the back from Philip Pullman, who wrote the Golden Compass series, and I like Philip Pullman a lot. It says, LeCarre's best book and one of the finest English novels of the 20th century. That's high praise right there. So, those are all the books I have by him. You know, if I read them and like them, which sounds like I probably will, I'll probably get more of them. Luckily, I've got a lot of bookshelves, man. A lot of bookshelves. Okay, so I'm really excited about these two because these are books that I'm going to revisit, okay? Michael Moorcock, Elric of Melniboné or Melniboné, I never have been sure quite how to pronounce that. The Elric Saga, Volume 1, okay? So I'm revisiting these because this publishes the books that I read in paperback growing up. Book 1, Elric of Melniboné. Book 2, The Fortress of the Pearl. Book 3, The Sailor on the Seas of Fate. And Book 4, The Weird of the White Wolf. And if you never read these, this is some classic fantasy stuff right here. Moorcock wanted to do something not just a little bit different from the fantasy that everybody else was doing, but something a lot different. So instead of the hero of his books being this powerful warrior who was really strong, could beat anybody in a fight, he made him a sickly albino who was a drug addict and traded with demons for his magical powers. And on top of all that, he eventually winds up with a sword that lends its strength to him, but it's possessed by a demon that eats the souls of the people that he slays with it. Anyway, fantastic bunch of books. I just loved these growing up. And then that's the first volume. The second volume here is called Stormbringer, the Elric Saga, Volume 2. I love that cover art. That's a beautiful painting right there and stuff. And this one reprints. There's a Ford in here. Book 1, The Vanishing Tower. Book 2, The Revenge of the Rose. Book 3, The Bane of the Black Sword. And Book 4, Stormbringer. And I believe There is a third volume to this series, which was not available at the time I bought these 2 volumes, but is available now. I need to get it ordered so that I have the whole set in hardcover. But these are in really good condition too, which is maybe a little unusual for books in my collection. You know, I don't know that I'm harder on books than most people, but I do read them, and you know, I'm a big clumsy oaf too. So I also have this, and I think this is just a duology because the publication date on the second volume of this was 2018. This is a couple of books called The King of the Road, and The Brotherhood of the Wheel. And my understanding is that this is a series of books about truckers, motorcyclers, people who drive on the highways for a living, but also who protect America and the world from stuff. Anyway, urban fantasy. The review I read of this was in the magazine of fantasy and science fiction, and so it came highly recommended, but it also sounded like a really cool concept for an urban fantasy. You know, secret brotherhood of people driving around, protecting us from stuff. Hadn't read them yet, but I'm looking forward to them. They were published by Tor, and like I say, the most recent one was published in 2018. I don't know if there are more books coming or not, but it seems like 5 years later is a long time. At the same time, you know, how long we've been waiting for that last the last few George R.R. Martin books in that, Game of Thrones series, Song of Ice and Fire. I really liked those books when I thought I might actually be able to finish the series. Then I've got a couple of books here from Wally Lamb, and I have not read either of these yet. I have read She's Come Undone, which I liked very much, and also read The Hour I First Believed, which I liked even better. This is called We Are Water. I don't know anything about this book other than it's by Wally Lamb, and I was able to get it at a reasonably good price at my local used bookstore. And then I also have I Know This Much Is True by Wally Lamb. And I guess 2 of his books became part of the Oprah Book Club. I don't know that it's an indicator of quality in either direction. So, I don't know. You never hear anything about the Oprah Book Club anymore. I don't even know if Oprah still has a show. You'll probably tell me in the comments. Then I have a stack of 3 books from Richard Rousseau, who's one of my favorite authors. None of these 3 books are favorites of mine from Richard Rousseau. And I don't know what happened with my favorites. Empire Falls, Nobody's Fool, Mohawk, those are probably my 3 favorite Richard Rousseau novels. What I have here is Everybody's Fool, which is a sequel to Nobody's Fool. It was actually pretty good. I really liked it. I didn't like it as well as I liked Nobody's Fool, however. I also have Bridge of Sighs, which I started but didn't finish. I'm going to give it another shot fairly soon. And That Old Cape Magic, which, same story. Started it, didn't finish it, planning to revisit it. Richard Rousseau, Straight Man by Richard Rousseau. Absolutely terrific book. And there's a TV series now. Bob Odenkirk stars in it. They changed the name to Lucky Hank. I don't know why they did that. I thought Straight Man was a great title for that novel. Okay, so we're in the home stretch now. I have 22 books on that shelf. We have visited with, I think, 12 of them. The last 10 books on this shelf are all novels from my favorite writer of legal courtroom thrillers, legal thrillers. And that's Scott Turow. So here's Testimony by Scott Turow. And Reversible Errors by Scott Turow. Pleading Guilty by Scott Turow. And this one I'm really excited about. This is called The Last Trial. And I'm really excited about this one because the first Scott Turow novel that I read was called Presumed Innocent. And the attorney in, I can't remember names very well for some reason, but the attorney in Presumed Innocent who stood trial had his own attorney. And that attorney, his first name was Sandy. And he shows up in the next novel, and he's the main character of the next novel. And this is a sequel that's set years and years later, because those books came out 20 or 30 years ago, and it's about his last trial as an attorney. The Burden of Proof. These are some no-nonsense covers, I'm going to tell you. And then, oh golly, it's hard to get my hands on this one. Identical. I believe I have an almost complete collection of Scott Turow. He's not nearly as prolific as John Grisham, but I think his writing is much, much better. And I like John Grisham. I just think Scott Turow is a really good writer. Personal Injuries. Limitations. This one's in paperback. All these other ones I've shown you so far have been in hardcover. Innocent, which I believe is a direct sequel to Presumed Innocent. Presumed Innocent's terrific. If you haven't read it, you should. I don't know where my copy of Presumed Innocent went. I probably loaned it to somebody. I wish I still had it. And then I have The Laws of Our Fathers. And I believe Scott Turow also wrote a nonfiction book, and I don't remember exactly what it has to do with. I don't have a copy of it, but, well, I do know what it has to do with in general terms. It has to do with the legal profession, practicing law, going to law school, that sort of thing. So, that is my bookshelf tour for today. 22 books that I'm convinced are all absolutely fabulous. And if you've made it this far into the video, and I hope you have, thank you. And if you haven't, I thank you anyway. I'll see you during my next video.